Hello, everyone. Welcome to Saturday Night Talk. Who's taking up space tonight? Well, tonight we are on live. I'm going to bring up Dr. D in a minute. I'll also have you guys get your link from YouTube tonight. So here we are once again to see what you all are doing, how you're doing, and what is your spring flow like? That's what we'll be talking about today. And so, you know how you try to get ready and you're looking a hot mess. Remember when I was coming up, earrings was the thing. So you put on earrings to take away from the bad hair day. Ha! How's that? How is that? I don't know. Let's bring Dr. D up and see how she's doing. Shall we?
Well, hello.
Dr.
How are
D,
you?
I'm
Hi.
okay. I was just saying, I'm having a bad hair day, and you know what you do? You put on earrings to take away from the bad hair day.
Well, the earrings are really talking.
They are
Okay.
talking. Yes, so that's the bad hair day. But anywho, I thought we would see how people's spring flow is going. We all have so much going on in our lives. As they say, life is lifing. Um, so some are in a good place, some are fighting. Um, Pretty much, what can I say? Some are trying to figure it out, and some are grieving and have no idea because what can I say? It's hard to put a name on it. So let's see who's going to come on tonight. Let's see if anybody wants to talk about life. And if not, then we'll have them come on. You can read something out of your book. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me. And I'm afraid that some of us may be going through parts of everything that you called out because there's an expression, life is too much with us. And I think we're on overload. I believe we may have been on overload before COVID, but especially during and since COVID, we seem to be bombarded with so many decisions to make, with so many things going on at one time. The world really is smaller than it used to be. I can remember
Yeah.
when Europe was far, far away. Now it's on your TV. So there are a lot of things that we're having to
Wow. Yeah.
contend with. And because I believe the school system has never taught us how to grieve, and the school system really hasn't done that fantastic a job teaching us how to sort things out. Well, we walk around in a fog most of the time. And I shouldn't say we, I'm not going to put that on everybody. I walk around in a fog a lot because the skills that I thought I was learning that would be useful forever have sort of outgrown themselves. They're outdated now. We need other skills or
Well,
other ways to function.
yeah, that's true. I noticed that. And people always say, oh, it's not like that anymore. But really and truly, I feel like some things we shouldn't change. Some things we should carry on. Almost like tradition. There's certain things like tradition we should carry on. But people are like, oh, they don't do that anymore. Well, why not dare to be different? Why not carry on the tradition? You guys, share this out, share this out. And if you want to come on, go to YouTube at simplyjewel.com, Simply Jewel TV, and grab the link. Please come on. You can always come on. What else do you think, Dr. D? You were saying, go ahead.
Well, our plates are full. We're at a table that we probably didn't set and weren't really invited to. But here we are with all of this stuff in front of us, all these choices to be made, and we're not always aware of how to make those choices. How do you sort it out from number one being least important to number 10 being the most important? What do you do with all those things in between? How do you make a decision about what the next step is? See, we don't really, and I'm speaking as a former school teacher now, we don't really teach problem solving and decision making as we should. It really should start with kindergarten, but at the latest, by third grade, we should be teaching kids how to make decisions. And in order to make decisions, you have to know how to solve problems. You can't
And that's
sweep
true.
everything under the
And how do
rug.
we solve a problem? Yeah, but how do you solve a problem if you don't have the tools?
That's just it. Where are they? The
That's a good
curriculum,
question.
the
Well,
curriculum at every level probably needs to be overhauled so that we indeed do walk into the 21st century. Because if I were to speak to some of my grandchildren, we'd be speaking different languages, or the meanings of the words that I use are very different from their definitions as they use them.
that is
And,
true. That is true.
and since we're so busy, we barely have time to do anything. Example, my grandson. I have two. I have two darling grandsons. They're 6'4", I think he told me this evening. But he came in a rush to change the battery in a smoke alarm in a rush. And as I was asking questions, he was not paying the least bit of attention to me. He was trying to figure out how to put the right battery and the right alarm where it was supposed to be and all of that. Well, Jewel, he did that. He said, "It's done, grandmother. I'll see you later." And by the time I got downstairs to close the garage, he was gone. I don't know what to
See,
do about that.
well, I think that, like you say, during dinners and different things, I think we have to let people know how we want to be treated.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's important to let them know that that doesn't help anything. It actually hinders, and you get a different feeling, a different understanding. And I think when you don't feel heard, then that's where a different kind of energy pops up. You see,
You're
so it's
absolutely right.
yeah, we
And the
have to
reason
let them know how we want to be treated.
the reason I say that is because as I was talking and as you were talking, I went back to my mother when I used to take her to Albertsons. Believe it or not, there used to be Albertsons all over Denver in the metro area. And the first thing that she would say when I get her in the car as we were driving was, "Now, I don't want you to rush me." And I'd say, "Well, of course not. I'll just sit in the front and read my book." Because she wanted to take as much time as she needed, if it meant going up and down every aisle, to get done what she needed to get done. But that was my relationship with my
Wow.
mother. Skip a generation and compare it with my grandson always being busy. And he legitimately, I'm sure, had something else to do, but he got so focused on doing what I had asked him to do last Monday, that he finally got over this evening to do. So he did it and off he went.
Um,
And I think it's generational, is what I'm saying. I think, of course, the times were different. The times were not as fast paced as they are now. Um, my mom and I lived a distance away from each
that's
other.
true.
I was in
Yeah,
Southeast
because
Missouri, and she,
everybody's in a hurry.
yeah. So we had the time, or she made sure that she had the time to get her needs met. And mother was the type, she didn't have to say it twice. Okay. She she was sure that when she spoke, you heard her. Okay. But like E.F. Hutton, when E.F. Hutton speaks, we listen, that old commercial. But there really
Everybody
is,
listens.
yeah, it's a difference in the way we approach everything. And it's as if with my grandson, he's trying to push everything into a place as quickly as he can to get to the next thing. Well, ever happened to that expression, "stop and smell the roses"? What happened to it? We
Yeah.
don't stop. And
Well,
I shouldn't be saying it as if it's criticism, because I'm sure that he's seen that behavior in me as he was growing up. The rush, rush, rush to get to the next thing and the
yeah.
next thing and the next thing. I mean, when did we come up with these things to do list? Why can't we live without a list of what we need to do every day? And if we don't check off everything on the list, we feel like failures. I don't know.
Well, I do like having a list, but I like the list because you can slow down. There's no race. Who said it had to be a race? So you can add to the list, you can check off the list, but everybody's in a hurry. And that's part of the problem. That's why I think people are overwhelmed because they feel like they have to get stuff done in such a hurry.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I have learned to slow down because you make so many errors if you don't learn to slow down, if you don't take the time to get in alignment and center yourself. You can have serious issues. Just like these earrings, these are my mom's earrings. I have taken care of these earrings for a long time. But if I were in a hurry, I would have thrown them away. Oh, I don't need them right now. But guess what? They're serving the purpose right now. So, see, we've got to learn to slow down.
Well, yeah, we do, but how do we do that? We just are
Well,
so busy.
yeah. Well, you can't keep up. You know that saying how they used to say back in the day, people keeping up with the Joneses. There's no need. Where's the fire? Number one, where's the fire? Who said it had to be done in a hurry? These are the things we have to learn on. Breathe in, blow it out, take the time to do a little at a time, because there's no urgency. It's always that saying, you got to hurry up to wait, hurry up to wait. So why are people rushing?
Well,
That's a problem. People have to learn to slow down. So you guys make sure you share this out, share it out. Come on the screen, grab the link. As you can see, I put it all down there. Grab the link. Come on up. Let's chop it up. Share, 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 subscribe. You can grab the link on YouTube, okay? If
you
you
know
don't
what?
have YouTube, put a comment in the comment box. Go ahead.
You know, I'm reminded.
Oh, we got Tracy. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Tracy. Are you going to come up? I don't even know how long she's been on. Tracy Stanley saying hello. Oh, okay. Oh, I hope she's still watching. Feel free if you can grab the link. It's on YouTube.
There
And
it
we're a
is.
little delayed. That's the StreamYard. Yes. Oh, okay. Well, you can, do you have, how do I join the conversation? Oh, you can grab the link on YouTube, and if you and you just click on the link. You If you go to YouTube and in the comment section, just click on the link, and then you can come on the screen with us. Let's see. I don't have. Let me see if I can send it to you on YouTube. I mean on Facebook. Okay. Well, go ahead, Dr. D, while I'm trying to send out these links.
Well, I was.
Tell, what else do you think? What can you say to the
We've been talking about rush, 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 being busy all the time, and for some reason, Psalm 23 came into my spirit. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. Could it be that back in the time of King David, there was this urgency to rush, rush, rush and do things, and that Spirit spoke to David so that he could center himself and say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That's reassurance. But he makes me lie down in green pastures. See, something stopped David from worrying all the time. He makes me lie down in green pastures. And I remember one time, Jewel, when you were talking about you have been going, going, going. And one morning you woke up and you just didn't feel like going anymore. Well, that's the equivalent of him making you lie down in green pastures. So he makes us aware of what's going on, I believe, and he gives us an option. Now, there have been thousands of books written on this same thing, how to use your time wisely. Thousands and thousands of how to do this, that, and the other. I guess the question is, to what extent do we commit to doing it and continue after the newness of it wears off? You know, I can have a brilliant idea and I can do it for 2 weeks, but after 2 weeks, I've just about run out. How do I continue and sustain that consistency.
Okay. And here's Tracy. Tracy says she has a question. She said,
Okay.
I have a comment. What I have learned is not to expect a me from others. It lessens my frustrations. Indeed. Yeah, because um everybody's not going to be you. We all are created different, right? So if we're all created different, everybody's outcome is going to be different. So yeah, you'll get frustrated every time if you expect people, to be like you or to think like you. You'll be disappointed every time. So yeah, that was coming from YouTube. So yeah, Tracy, grab that link. Just click on the link and follow it through, and you should be able. And I'll bring you up on the platform. This will be a good conversation. What do you think about that comment, Dr. D?
Absolutely, it's the
Did you
truth.
see the comment?
Yeah, that it lessens her frustration when she doesn't expect people to behave exactly as she would behave. And that's
Yeah, that doesn't
fine.
happen
But
because we already know. However, people do mimic people, but they still don't have that same outcome because it's not for them. What's for you is for you. Yeah. What
well,
else we have?
we live in a rush, 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 get it done kind of world.
Yeah, we've got to slow down, people. That's why eating healthy is important. You got to eat healthy, you got to drink water because it's a lot, and you can't be like anybody else. I remember years ago, I used to be so mad because I couldn't do like other people because I knew I would end up having an asthma attack or something like that. And my mom sat me down and said, you are you. You can't be like anybody else. But you know what? As I mature now, I'm so glad because all those people I looked at or looked up to or thought they had it going on, it's a whole different story. So we have to be mindful that we can only be ourselves. We got to slow down and listen to what we're supposed to be doing. What path are we supposed to be taking? Because can't nobody do it like us. Bottom line, that's just the way it is. So yeah. Anybody else? Uh-oh, I'm having trouble. Oh, are you? Okay. Do you want to click that same link and put it? Let me see if we can. She says she's having trouble. She's here though. Okay. So maybe, I don't know. I can try. What can you send me a message on uh Facebook, and then I will send the link to you because I can't find you on Messenger. Or you can text me um, your number and I will send you the link. I can do that. And my number, everybody knows it. So it's 720-435-0269. You'll find it on. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes. All right, let's add her to the screen. I think she just made it.
Can you hear me?
Let's see. Hello, hello. How are you?
Good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me
Um,
okay?
I can hear you.
That's good.
okay, yes.
Well,
I hear
this
you.
is um good. Well, we were just talking about a few. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you
Thank you.
on.
Thank you.
Yes, I see. So we were talking about people in a hurry, and you had a comment. So let's talk about that. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then tell us what you think about the topic today.
Sure. I think the topic is great. I've been on since it started, but initially when I tried to come on into YouTube, I was unable to. But anyway, I listened to the story. And by the way, I am Dorothy's daughter. I listened to the story that mom was sharing about, my son and when he came over. And it just made me think of what I said. I finally gotten to the point in life where I don't expect me from anybody because nobody's going to extend themselves the way anybody does. You know what I mean? Like mom extends herself her way, I have my way, but I think we can get disappointed if people don't meet like an expectation that we have. So to help myself, especially when I was working on finishing my degree, I just had to let that go. And, I used to talk to mom a lot about that.
Yeah, we do have to let it go. However, it's a catch 22 because at one point we want to set examples. At another point, we want to show people, I don't know if we should say the right way, because really, what is the right way? But with in decency and in order, I would say. But a lot of people don't want to accept it that way.
True.
At some point we have to come to a happy medium, which is what I say. But what do you think about that? Because yeah, you would run yourself ragged if you kept saying the same old thing. And I think it also has to do with maturity.
Sure. I agree with all of that. I
You
think
have a
it's
comment
true.
about that?
Well, I agree with that. Everything that you said. I think a lot of it has to do with maturity, but it just depends. Like mom said, sometimes you just have to slow down, to really get to things that are important because all situations are important. But if people rush through everything, sometimes you miss very important
Yeah,
things.
Well, I think we want to excel. I think the
yeah.
desire
I think it's
to
also,
excel is inbred almost or ingrained in us. So and the competition is amazing. I believe we're taught to compete with each other in school. Who gets the 100? Who gets 90 and all of that? Always wanting to be better than. I grew up in that kind of society. Thankfully, when I began work, team building was becoming very important and very strategic. And so we started saying things like there's no I in team and things like that to sort of get us where we could accept differences as well as similarities among each other.
yeah. And now here we are in 2024. Um, like we're evolving. So if we're evolving, we have to take a little bit of the old fashioned and add it to the new wave because these kids are creating their own stuff. So we have to be able to meet them where they are but we also have to show them. For example, we know how to write in cursive. We didn't always have the computer, so we're showing people how to print, the little kids how to print their name. A lot of people are going to not know how to print their name or write in cursive because all they know is the computer. Although in school, they're teaching them how. Are they? From what I understand, people aren't even taking creative writing or learning how to write in school. Everything is done on computer. So we know how to print. We know how to write. Remember, we had to learn calligraphy. Some people know how to write calligraphy and some people don't. So there comes a time where you learn a little bit each time as we go. And if you're trying to keep up with the kids today, we got to meet them where they are. We got to find out how we can come together, is what I'm trying to say.
I think what we miss a lot is emphasizing either or. Either you do it this way or you do it that way, instead of emphasizing and that you can do both. It's situational,
Okay.
but you can do both. Now I'm going to get into an area that is controversial, although I don't know why, but diversity. Diversity is so misunderstood by people who are accustomed to either or. One of the principles of diversity is the concept of A-N-D. And that's what you were talking about earlier when you said you take the best of this and the best of that, and you have something entirely, you end up with something entirely different. So it's not either or anymore. It's and that's accepting everything that people bring with them to the table, and then determining which parts you want to keep and which parts you don't, and not becoming bent out of shape if somebody doesn't want to keep most of my part yet wants to keep most of somebody else's, because too many cooks spoil the broth, but you need more than one cook sometimes to get a meal done.
Well, what you think, Tracy? What you think about that?
I also agree with that statement. It's very
Uh-oh,
true. No? Can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
Oh, okay. I agree also with that last statement. I think it's very true. Really, everything that you all have been sharing so far is just true.
Great,
I heard that
great
last
minds
part.
think alike. I like, right? I'm only
Uh-huh.
being
Yeah.
a little bit facetious, but uh, you know what we're practicing tonight. I really think is I Lord. I think it's fantastic, and that's the lost art of conversation, of talking to each other. This
Yeah.
platform
I
allows
agree.
that to happen. But how often do we get a chance just to sit down and talk and listen?
Right.
You know, we teach
And you,
lots of skills, but it's only been within the last maybe 15 years that listening skills have become part of the curriculum. We just assume you got 2 ears so you can hear, but that's not true. And so we do selective listening. Usually what we're doing is listening so that we can respond to what's being said. instead of engaging in a dialogue, taking the time to listen,
Yeah.
to hear, to ask questions if you don't understand, not to jump to conclusions, because it sounds like you were about to say whatever. We just need to take the time. And that's what I started off talking about in terms of my grandson. He wasn't taking the time to acknowledge anything that I was saying because he was so focused on getting this done for grandmother. And I think that's wonderful. I just would have wished he had stayed a little bit longer. That's all.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, or is the time not right? Or say, like, listen, do we have to make appointments with everybody so that they at least, a 30-minute appointment or hour appointment? Because I work by appointments. And so I'm like, okay, I had to do that too. I had to say, oh, can I make an appointment with you since you're so busy? But
Mm.
I wouldn't take it personal. That's because at some point, you have to teach people how to treat you. Because if you don't like that, then you have to next time either pick up the phone and say, that was a little awkward. This is what I was hoping for. And hopefully he'll pick up on that the next time and say, "Oh, I didn't. You know how they do. I didn't realize I was doing that." You know, and
I'm sure
maybe they
that's true.
did. Who's
No, I'm sure it's true of
well?
him.
Then
It's just that he has so much on his plate and he's trying to make sure everything on his plate's done, that it becomes more of a job than an engagement. And maybe I'm playing with words. I don't think so, but maybe that's what it is. And I still believe,
yeah, well, my 2 cents.
it's
You still
generational.
believe? Okay. Well, it can be, and then there's also a thing where, like, I've said it before. I don't like that running in and out. You're so busy. You're in and out. You tell me something, you go, but you don't sit and
Mhm.
what tell me how you think it should work. Or but don't just say here and this is what you do and then skedaddle. No, I'm gonna need you to tell me what your thought process was for that particular whatever it was you were trying to tell me or pass on to me. I'm gonna need you to tell me what's your thought process. So I've said that before. I've said, um, I'm gonna need you to make an appointment so I can hear what you have to say. Don't just tell me something and run off. That because I don't know what your thought process was. So I don't know. Tracy, jump right in because I can rattle.
Well, you know what I was going to share is what I really think is important is we should be deliberate with the time that we spend with the people that we love, even if it's your friends. I think if we're going to do that, you should at least make some time. So Kennedy could have taken a little bit of additional time and just kind of sat, asked mom how her day was, and things like that. But I think it's so important because time doesn't stand still and we just never know in this life. So I just think that it's important, when you spend time
You
together,
kind of went
you
out on
just,
me.
oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me? I just don't know. I'm doing this from my phone, so that's probably the
I
problem. Can you
can
hear me?
now.
Okay. Um, but just being deliberate when you're with people, I think that's important.
Yeah, I'm going to. Okay.
Hmm.
That makes sense. But I think it's important for everybody to say, what it is that's bothering them. Because I'm a firm believer, if we don't talk to people and they keep doing the same old, then that's like talking about when people say they love you. That may be their love language, but that may not be my love language. So stuff like that.
Hmm.
What I
Agreed.
want to say though
What
is
else?
that
Let's see. Is there anything?
when I use that as an example, it was as an example. It wasn't as a criticism. It was as an observation. And what I was really trying to point to is
Okay.
the generational differences that just are. They're part of our lives. And we have to get used to them, is what I'm saying. We have to get
Oh,
used to them.
absolutely.
But do we
I
really
didn't
have to
even.
get used to it, or do we understand? I'm
Well,
sorry. Go
both.
ahead, Tracy.
Well, I just wanted to say no, I did not perceive it as criticism. I just have had those experiences myself. So I mean, I know how it
Uh,
feels. And that's all I was saying.
Okay.
oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I think we all can relate to that because we've all been young before, and some people realize and some people don't.
That's,
We've all been young before.
yeah.
So I think we have done it at one time, but I also think maturity comes with it because as you grow older and mature, you realize life is short and you can't get that time back. You just can't get it back. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying, Tracy. And same to you, Dr. D. So, it's almost like, what is the real world like for you? And And that would be my question to those and anybody else that wants to come on. Feel free to grab the link and share this out. We can get 10 people on this platform, at one time. So, what is the world, or shall we say, we all try to keep it real? So that's a question. Maybe you guys can answer this. People always saying keeping it real. So, what is the real world for you like? Dr. D, Tracy?
My real world is evolving all the time. If I were to compare my real world now to my real world 6 years ago, I wouldn't recognize it. So many things have changed. One of them, of course, is that my daughter Courtney is in heaven. 6 years ago, she was here, and we would see each other every day or talk to each other every day. So it's evolving. Sometimes it's evolving, which means it may go slowly, and sometimes it rushes by. Sometimes I have time to do some of the things I'd like to do, but often I'm working, I'm doing things that I've committed to do. And I guess the reason I use that expression, stop to smell the roses, is because I want to relearn that. I want to be able to take the time to
Okay.
enjoy uh, going out on my deck and seeing the tulips that have come up or the ones that have bloomed overnight. I was worried about them this morning because of the snow last night. But I'm telling you, those tulips are sturdy. They're strong. They were here when I
Yep,
bought the
they
property in
are.
2006, and they come up every year. And so I want to learn how to enjoy life more and not always to feel pressured to get things done. I stopped my to-do list years ago, just like I stopped wearing a watch
Okay.
years ago, because I'm trying to learn how to enjoy or to rest. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He makes me rest. Okay.
Well, that's good. A lot of people don't know how to rest. Well, I'm glad you said that. Let me share something with you guys. This is about a couple who has spent, I hope I can play it without it buffering, who has spent, they spend $1,600 a month for a 2 bedroom. I believe it's on the East Coast. Let me see if I can share that. And talking about people taking the time to rest, I'm going to put on my disclaimer because I'm not certain. Let me find it first. It's a shame. Oh, here we are, all the way over here. But I want to play something talking about people resting and learning how to slow down. That is something I think is important. I'm going to share this screen and tell me what you guys think about this, okay? Stand by. I'm going to try and get it done because I really think it's something we all need to think about. Um, let's see. It may not share, but we'll find out in a minute. Stand by. Oh, here we go. You see this couple, they pay $1,600 a month. Oh, it didn't share it.
Where the problem is mechanical at the moment. Yes. There is the you shall not forgive me again. Is it possible to get to Mars with there's only water deployed? We must go outside and fix the problem. Open up. I'm not sending anyone outside to the bathroom contamination of the problem.
So we'll see. Well, it's not going to let me do it. So I think I'm going to have to try something different. Stand by. I think we'll just have to read. We're just going to have to read it. But basically, they were saying, I said all that to say the reason why they have for this whole thing, they pay $1,600 a month for a 2 bedroom apartment, but they have 150 plants. It helps her to calm down. So I was trying to share that article with you guys, but I don't think I'll be able to share it. And I said all of that because yeah, people are looking for things to keep them calm. They're looking for things to take care of. But I don't think you'll be able to see what I saw. I will probably have to go into the other one. I think I left it too long because, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if you'll be able to see.
Well, tell me this: where did they put the 150
Are you able to see that?
plants.
Get through this.
I see part of it. It's a 1-bedroom
She talks
apartment in Brooklyn.
Okay, so what the hell's happening?
They have 150 house plants.
Are you able to
Where
see
did they
that?
put them?
Provider
Agree. Results have been amazing. This is a life changer.
I only
Okay.
start sooner. I tell all my friends, you've got to start now.
Like if you could start yesterday, do that. Regrow your hair in
Okay,
as little
let's
as
see
3
if
to
this
6
works.
Electricity legs. Amateur hour is over.
months. Visit 4hems.com.
living like that. I'm just
Solar panels are responsible
Oh, that's the apartment.
for the scale of the atmosphere. 3 panels.
You're able to see it?
Yes, I can.
Bring the customer pop off if it's ready to go outside.
Okay. It just did what it wanted to do. I'm sorry. Let's see.
So you're out there hanging on to a locomotive, 7 feet down, miles per hour. And of course, you're dealing with a sword.
Well, it's trying to come back on, but I wanted you guys to hear.
Worry about tiny shards of metal can puncture a suit and create a catastrophic. Turn it on. Then there's the risk of exhaustion, loss of consciousness. Okay. Look, Lex, every single person on this mission, they're the best in the world. Each and every one going to be completely prepared and in total sync before they go out there, I promise. Okay, so the jam is right on section 42. It's pretty far out there, but we have to remove it properly, otherwise we risk losing the entire array. What we're looking at is Misha, you will get up first. No, she goes first, then me. She goes left. Watch the pedestal gets watch in suit. If the spell comes from fertilation. I will not give you.
I'm not hearing you. Can't hear you.
Okay. How about now?
I can hear you
You can hear
now.
me?
I can.
I got kicked
Okay.
out, so I had to come back in.
Everybody? Okay. Well, guys, I'm going to download that video because I found it interesting how everybody's in a different place. And some people can live with little to nothing. But the fact that they have 150 plants, they're comfortable where they are, they spend time healing and talking to the plants, and they feel like they don't have to be around so many people, the hustle and bustle of life, which is why I pulled up that video. I'll try and download it for next week, but I just thought that it was interesting how everybody's different. Some people are okay not having to rush, rush, rush. And then there's some people that feel like they're missing something if they aren't rushing around and, entertaining and engaging with people on a consistent basis, or grabbing something to go into the mall. buying clothes so that they can go out the night before. At this point, it is okay to have your people close, or to have a select few and cook dinner and have wine, or have, you know, tea, a tea time, and connect to people. I think that's what we're missing in this world today. People don't know how to connect. What do you think about that?
Well, there's that old saying, different strokes for different folks. And so, everybody has whatever it is they need to make it. But I just can't imagine a one bedroom with 150 houseplants. That's amazing.
And they're happy. They're
Yeah,
happy. Yeah.
yeah, but that's okay. It's okay. It works for them. I'm glad they found each other.
Yeah, they
I,
live in a, I think it was with the grandmother. It was they live in a 3,500 square foot house. The couple, I don't know, I think they live downstairs with 150 plants, and the grandmother lives upstairs. And then there was this one young lady who moved in with her great, well, maybe it was her grandmother, and they didn't realize how much alike they were. And the grandmother would get up and make tea for the granddaughter. The granddaughter would do something for the grandmother, and they didn't realize how much they needed one another. And so
mm,
people in 2024, they're finding ways to come together, ways to connect, because like the young girl said, she never realized that's what she needed.
mhm.
Never realized that it helped her.
It's fantastic.
Uh-oh. Yeah, calls coming in. I'm sorry. Okay. Got calls coming in. Okay. So yeah, so everybody's different, but we'll have to do this again. And Tracy, I would love to meet you face to face maybe next time. Anything, thank you for supporting my channel. Is there anything you want to say? You're a great listener, I can tell, because I guess I couldn't see you, so I'm sure you probably had something to say. Is there anything you'd like to say that probably I missed because of the I can see you talking when the tea lights up.
No, I just wanted to say I enjoyed the I enjoyed the podcast. I will join again. I may not always join to talk, but likely I will. But yes, I enjoyed it. So thank you.
And that's perfectly fine. You can always engage in the comments. If you don't want to join, it's perfectly fine. There were some people coming on from Facebook, and they're always, let me see if I'm missing anything. Sometimes we get a lot of people engaging. So as we continue to grow, you can always participate in the comments. We'll put it up on the screen, or feel free to come on the platform or talk about different things. Today we kind of got delayed. At first we were ready, and then we weren't ready. So it kind of delayed us. Oh, there you are. Thank you. And so each week will be different. We also have the podcast Simply Jewel Atypical that is on Tuesday nights. I'm going to be changing some things around. I'm going to be adding some things. So stay tuned and watch and keep in touch. If you like something that we have on the different platforms, feel free to share. Oh, Dr. D, let's talk about our Patreon. So for Patreon, for those that are really hurting, those that really want to go behind the scene on a private platform, we are going to open up the platform. Feel free. This is what it looks like. We have Simply Heal. So you can join us exclusively to talk and to heal. Dr. D and I are going to be supporting people, those that need to heal. What do you say, Dr. D? What do you grieve? Do you know at what stage you're grieving in, what phase, or the roller coaster ride of grieving? You know, what kind of grieving are you experiencing? So for $49.99 a month, we're going to have a private platform. This is for people that really want to heal, for people that really want to engage and have tools to heal. And what else can you say about that, Dr. D?
Experienced with the death of my daughter was the fact that I hurt so much that I couldn't talk, but I could listen when other people talked. And when other people would say things that mirrored what I was feeling, I felt better. I've been doing grief work for the last 25 years. I was doing it long before my daughter died. And it's a matter of listening, of your ears being attuned to the pain that comes through someone's voice. And sometimes I would feel like talking, and I would talk when I felt like talking, but I didn't feel like I had to talk. Sometimes I just sat silently in the pain, knowing that I wasn't alone. Because you see, we don't teach people how to grieve. In fact, we don't always teach people how to identify when they are grieving. And here I'm talking not just about death, I'm talking about loss. And we suffer loss continually every day. And so learning how to handle loss instead of letting loss handle me was one of the things that came out of the grieving process for me. Each person grieves differently. Now, I have come across people who get over it, as we're usually told to do, in little or no time. But basically, for me, the understanding is that grieving never ends. It takes different forms, but it never ends because you never can get over the loss of a loved one, whether it's a pet or a goldfish or your best friend or whomever or whatever, because we can grieve the loss of a job. We can grieve the loss of a sweater or a scarf. And it doesn't have to be that minimal, but there's so many ways. And since we're not taught how to grieve, we don't know that, first of all, grief doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end. And that grief accumulates. that we put one kind of grief on top of another kind of grief, on top of a grief that happened 20 years before, and we don't always know how to sort those things out. So I'm hopeful that on the Patreon, when there are specific issues that need to be addressed, that people will feel
Yes.
comfortable enough to talk about them or to listen about them. It'll run the gamut. There are just too many things to grieve to say it's limited to death or a job or a dream or whatever. It's all of those and even more. So I look forward to it, just as I look forward to these Saturday night talks. And Tracy, I really enjoyed your being on tonight.
I
Thank
was
you.
happy
Yes.
to be here. Yep. Happy to be here.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, I appreciate it too, and I look forward to meeting you. And yes, so like I said, we're gonna. Oh, I want to give a shout out to the people that are buying makeup on Shopify. Orders are coming in. I want to say thank you for that. That allows us to, well, allows me to make these platforms a little bit better because I just jumped in. I had no idea what I was doing, but we are growing and I do appreciate it. Tracy, I thank you for coming on and supporting. There's nothing like getting acquainted with new people with like minds and those that want to move forward and excel. And a platform where you can be heard and not judged. That is something we want to do and continue to grow. So feel free to comment even after we go off. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Let us know how you're feeling. And by all means, sign up. Please sign up for our new Patreon, where you can really heal, and it's really for those that are serious. And you can also get in touch with us personally before. So with that being said, do you have anything that you want to read for us tonight before we say goodnight?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Of course, I have something that I'd love to read. This is blog number
Wonderful.
24, and it's titled, How Are You Today? If today, right now, you are at the lowest point in your life, on the brink of hopelessness, helplessness, or despair, stop. Stop thinking, stop feeling, stop worrying, stop fretting, just stop. I want to assure you that you are not alone. You have not been abandoned. The same supreme power, God, who created you, is at work and has been at work in your life from the moment you were conceived. How do I know? I know because I read it in black and white from the bestseller of all times, the Holy Bible. The prophet Jeremiah records in the first chapter, 5th verse of the of the book that carries his name, quote, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I consecrated or dedicated you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations." And that's Jeremiah 1:5 from the New Revised Standard Version. This is Jehovah talking to the prophet Jeremiah. God is. Our Father is all powerful, all knowing, and everywhere at the same time. He knows the circumstances of your inestimable loss. He knows how hard all of this has been and is for you to handle. He knows your very thoughts from afar off. He knows you are mad as hell, disappointed in him, feeling jilted and bereft, angry at him. There, now I've said it. All of the above and more. As Mother used to sing through her pain, he knows, oh yes, he knows just how much we can bear. If you've read a few or many of my blogs, you know I have written often of Mother's faith and steadfastness. She lived the certainty of her truth. God knows everything. Nothing escapes him. I learned that from Mother's life. She sang as she washed and ironed, cooked and cleaned. In song she asked, why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? Why should my heart feel lonely and yearn for heaven and home? When Jesus is my portion, my constant friend is he. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. As she mourned the death of her mother, she sang. When unexpected, earth-shattering setbacks dogged her every step, she sang. When it seemed that things couldn't get any worse but did, Mother sang. I wish I could say that I'm a chip off the old block. I wish I had Mother's faith. It took me long enough before I understood God gives every one of us a measure of faith, but it's up to each of us to receive and accept it by faith and with his help. I'm still far from Mother's blessed assurance that the Lord will make a way somehow. When beneath the cross I bow, he will take away each sorrow. Let him have your burdens now. Prayerfully, I'm getting close to fully understanding and depending on God. Prayerfully. In the beginning, that's why I began blogging, and subsequently why I wrote this book. I was asking you, dear reader, to stop trying to handle whatever weighs you down. God knows. As long as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, you can stop despairing and or feeling despondent, hopeless, or helpless. God is our ever-present help in times of trouble. You do know that, don't you? That I'm talking to me first. It's okay if you're still mad with him. He can handle it. He knows. March 16, 2019.
Wow, you know what?
Good.
One thing I can say about that was awesome. Not only was it awesome, but do you think that our elders knew exactly, their faith, I believe, kept us going.
Oh,
Their
yes.
faith kept us strong.
Oh,
Without,
yes.
and I'm not seeing a lot of people with that strong faith this day and age. It's some out there, but to me, my 2 cents, I'm not seeing a lot of that in these times. Hence why a lot of people are declining, let's just say spiritually, which is why I think some of us who are holding on and trying to give our energy to people so that they can hold on, it's harder now than it was. But that you read today with all of those songs and all of those scriptures, that's what we grew up on. That's what gave
Yeah,
us strength. That's what gave us
yeah.
hope. So hopefully, I thank you for reading that. It encouraged me to know that I'm thankful that I had it growing up. And that's what I hold on to. That's what keeps me going. Because, baby, we go through some times, but can I tell you, I'm thankful. It may hurt, but people such as yourself, you keep depositing in the people. You keep depositing in the people until the people can eventually become strong. So I love the. Now I didn't read that in the book. Which one is that?
That's
Which
number
number
24.
is that?
24. But let me say this. We don't know as people that each one of us is born with a measure of faith. That's scripture. So we don't understand the faith that our parents had to rely on. They had to rely on a God they could not see, a God they didn't know
Oh yes.
was listening, but they learned faith. Each one, we don't know that we have it. And we think we have to go about trying to get it. No, faith is a gift from God.
Oh,
And all we have to do is ask Him. Matthew 7:7-8 says, ask and it shall be given you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall open. For whoever asks receives. Whoever seeks finds. And to the ones who knock, it will be open. I'm just saying this. We haven't tried it. It's in the book. It's there. And what we have to do is by faith, believing by faith, we have to see if what Jesus said in his words was true. Those words I just quoted came from Jesus. He was the one telling the multitudes.
yeah, and people
Ask
have to
him.
come back around.
Yeah. So we have to learn how to ask God, and we don't have to have any special criteria that we use to ask him. We simply talk to him the way we talk to each other. That's another thing I learned from Mother. Mother talked to God. Sometimes I'd walk in and she'd be talking and well, she's not on the phone. Who is she talking to? She would be talking to God. And it would be a prayer.
Oh yeah.
But she grew into that. You
But
don't
that's
come
forgotten.
here
I mean,
fully full of faith, but it's there. It's in you. Trust me. So thank you very much for your kind words, Jewel. Thank you.
it's in you. It is in you. But you have to want it. And see, some people, everybody's got a journey,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't find it until they go through something. And
Mm.
even then, they may not find it. They may, a hard head makes a soft what? That's what they say.
Yeah.
And then eventually it comes around. But everybody's faith is different. And some people aren't there yet. But
No.
like I said, what about the people? And I'm always going to say this. What about the people that have no faith or have lost their faith, or those that are angry and they have to come back around? You see, so for the book that you have written and the fact that you've experienced it as well, that's what we're trying to get people to understand. And that's how you're able to accommodate and give them tools, because everybody's got a story, but everybody is not as fortunate to come out of it on the other side and can help someone. So that's the beauty of it all. And that particular chapter I enjoyed because I grew up with those same words. But I'm thankful that it's embedded in me, and that's
Yeah.
what keeps me going. Even when I didn't think I couldn't make it or I couldn't do anymore, and people such as yourself will dump into people that helps them to grow, that helps them to get stronger. So I'm glad I got my book. So Tracy,
Thank
I
you.
know we keep saying we're going to say good night, but I just want to say good night again to Tracy, and thank you for allowing me to share your mom and for you to come on and engage. But she's a great listener, I can tell, because I've just been rattling and rattling. Go ahead,
Right.
Tracy, and then I'll serenade you guys on the way out. What would you like to say, Tracy, about that particular chapter?
I absolutely love it, but of course, I mean, I've read the book and many blogs multiple times because it's comforting. So no, I enjoyed it, and this one was really great that was read today, and I've enjoyed myself, and I'll be able to rest well.
Fantastic.
That's
Fantastic.
beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. So I think what we'll do is I'll serenade you guys out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I actually enjoyed myself. We did have a little buffering going on tonight, but that's because who knows why. We are live, but I appreciate you guys. And let's see. We'll just go out with this one and we'll see if it works. There we go. And thank you everybody for joining. I didn't even put my disclaimer on, did I? All right. And then we'll just play the banner for those that are serious. If you catch the replay, you're serious about joining the podcast, feel free to do so. Put your comments in, and don't forget to sign up front if you're serious. Good night, everybody. Peace and blessings.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.